In which case we will start our assembly properly with a good morning, Lisgard Hillfort. Good morning, everyone. It's really lovely to see you all. I hope that you're well, whether you're at school or at home. I really hope that you're well. First things first, it's a very special day. It's St. Piran's Day, and I know some of the colleagues here at school are in their Cornish rugby tops and so on. So happy St. Piran's Day. I know we'll be doing some activities in school, and I want to say a huge well done to all of the children who got involved in World Book Day. It might have been watching some of the videos that we put up. A little bit of a look at the parents at home now. One of the things that has come out really recently in the last week is the importance of putting subtitles onto your TV. And this is something I didn't realise, but we've had all sorts of celebrities, people like Sandy Toksvig and Stephen Fry, pointing out that if you put the subtitles on the telly, then that helps children's reading. So I think that's something we might look at in school children, and maybe something that can be done at home whilst we're talking about reading. But here am I today in the home room. I might stay here all day. It's very comfortable, and I'm on a sofa, and it's all very nice, but I suppose I should get on with the assembly, really. Who knows? Well, certificates. I've got quite a few, and I've got a story, and I've got some words about Monday. But let's start with my notes of who's got which certificates, and I'm going to start at the top end, or the eldest end of the school. And of course, year sixes this week, you might well have got your notification, your emails, your letters about where you're off to next. We will be sad to see you go, but I know that you'll be excited. Certainly my year six at home is very excited about secondary school. So I hope everything came through that you wanted. A really special week for you guys. Anyway, Miss Morrison has nominated Noah for consistent work throughout the lockdown, not just this 1 week, and the same can be said for Harry, consistent work throughout the lockdown. For Reese B in school, maths progress, really good. Well done for your progress and your attitude. And Elsie, I've seen this watercolour. It is beautiful. Hopefully we'll get you to sign it and we'll sell it in a few years for a few £1,000,000, something like that. Who knows? And Mr. Williams, he's gone for Amelia L for her writing and smile and hard work generally. So well done, you're the apple of Mr. Williams' eye today. And the last one on this piece of paper is Josh, and that's come from Mrs. Tandy. Mrs. Tandy has gone for Josh for his hard work. Right, I've got post-it notes everywhere, goodness me. But I've also got the certificates. Entitles you to an extra scoop of ice cream, I'm sure. Let's go with the first one. This is in no order, but this is at the youngest children. This is for Lola for your super reading. We're so proud of you. What a lovely thing for Mrs. Hoffman to write about you, Lola. Well done. And Miss Early has written a card to Autumn for fantastic learning at home and for your enthusiasm in the Zoom calls. I've seen some of those early years Zoom calls. They're great fun. I love it. Year 2, Miss Wade has given a certificate, her Star of the Week, to Darcy, and that's for fantastic engagement. For fantastic engagement in class Zoom calls again. Well done, Darcy. And also year 2 to Jessie for fantastic engagement in home learning, and that's from Mrs. Wood. I've just been past a little bit of a cop-out by Mr. McGurr and Miss Fox. They want to nominate all of Year 5 for exceptional resilience and hard work. And I think I'll say something about that in a little bit. So year 5 are next to me. I can actually even hear myself in their classroom, which is a slightly strange experience. So I'll come and give you guys a big thumbs up in a minute. Let's put that to one side. Mrs. Wood has also nominated Faith, and that's for settling positively back into class. I know all about that and how well you've done, Faith, so I'm looking at that camera for that one. Well done, Faith. Great job. I've got Reese, who I've mentioned for Miss Morrison. I've got Elsie already. Here we go. Miss Powell, Pomeroy and Colwell. Mrs. Powell, Mrs. Pomeroy and Mrs. Colwell have nominated Amy B. And that's just for always being a fantastic role model. I don't know why I say just there. That's so important. Well done, Amy. Absolutely superb. Maybe places on the student council and head girl await one day. Who knows? An ambition to have. And they've also gone for Daisy, and that's for her amazing World Book Day creation. I'm not sure I've seen that. I will be beating a path to year 4's door. Go and find out what that's all about. But well done, Daisy. Great job. Also to Tate, for having an amazing attitude towards all of his home learning. So that's much like Miss Morrison's one, isn't it? Where it's just for the whole period of time you've kept going, Hillfort core value. Mrs. Best has gone for children who are at home in year 3, okay? And that's resilience and positive attitude throughout. And Mr. Larkham has done the flip of that, which is all of year 3 who have been in school throughout the lockdown. So I'll look at that camera for that one. Well done, year 3. I will come and say well done to you guys in a minute. Specifically, Mr. Larkham has given an award to Ziva for working so hard at home and producing fantastic work. Great job, Ziva. Mr. Last in year 1 has given a certificate to Kenzie, and that's for an excellent attitude towards all work, especially the phonics, and for being a kind, caring friend. So important. And last certificate, but definitely not least, to young Megan, and that's for an amazing attitude to home learning, again, throughout lockdown. So I'm going to put those certificates to one side, because I was going to say a well done. It must have been very strange to all of those children coming in school. 1 out of 4 of you, smaller classes, maybe some of your friends not here, all slightly strange. And to all of those children at home who've just got on with things, even if you haven't done absolutely everything and absolutely every grab pack, you'll have done some work, you'll have done some reading, you'll have done some times tables, that kind of thing, and we're so proud of you for that. You will be exceptionally resilient. You will be, and that basically means you can keep going at things, show stamina, you're quite tough, you'd make good long distance runners. Yeah. And I think also to the parents, it must be very strange to the mums and dads and grandparents and so on and carers with Dr. Cook beamed into your home, coming out of your TV and laptop. Hopefully you've enjoyed some of the Zoom calls and maybe learnt something in some of the lessons. Who knows? I know that certainly happened in Cook Towers back in St. Column. So hopefully that's been something different, something useful. But I'm sure come 11 o'clock on or even 10 o'clock on Monday, you'll be having a well-deserved coffee. We look forward to you at the various time slots on Monday. So it's into the last piece of the assembly, which is for me to read another story. And this is a myth and legend from Egypt. And I know that here in school we study ancient Egypt, we look at the deserts and so on, and look at the history of Egypt and the Nile River and how most of the cities of Egypt, all but one really, are on the Nile. And they had their own gods and their own myths. And one of those was Osiris, who becomes god of the underworld, essentially. But Osiris was a king. Only the word for king in Egyptian times was pharaoh. To be a pharaoh was to be the king. In the long ago age of myths and legends, the god Osiris was the ruler or pharaoh of all Egypt. He was married to Isis, I-S-I-S, Isis, the sky goddess. Under Osiris's rule, the mighty river Nile flooded at the right time, bringing rich soil to the farmlands. The crops grew in plenty and the people were well fed. They were happy. But Osiris's brother, Set, the god of storms and the god of the desert, was jealous of him. He plotted to get rid of Osiris and become pharaoh in his place. So Set used his powers to change into a giant crocodile. Have a think. I wonder if you could turn into any animal. Wonder which one it would be. Year 6s, any of you reading Philip Pullman's Northern Lights trilogy? What would your animal there be? So Set used his powers to change into a giant crocodile, and he lurked into the river where Osiris used like to bathe. When Osiris came down to the river, Set seized him and dragged him beneath the dark waters. Isis was worried when she found out that Osiris had disappeared, and she used her magic to turn into a bird called a kite, so you could fly high above Egypt and look for him. Meanwhile, Set turned back into his usual form and declared that he was now the new pharaoh of Egypt. However, as he was not the rightful ruler, the Nile did not flood at the right time. The crops did not grow, and the people, they became sick, they became hungry. All the good health and prosperity, money, wealth Osiris had brought to the land were now gone. Isis, she never stopped looking for her husband, and at long last she found Osiris in the mud beside the river. He was unconscious, caught between life and death. Determined to save his life, Isis took Osiris to the god Thoth, who was known for his great wisdom. He was the master of healing magic, served as a judge in arguments between the gods, and had also invented writing. Interesting, isn't it? The Egyptians had lots of gods in charge of different kind of things. The god of love, the god of you'll have heard of Hermes, for example, from courier vans. God of speed. With help from the jackal-headed god Anubis, Thoth wrapped Osiris in bandages, and Isis used the power of her love to bring him back to life. While Osiris healed, they stayed in hiding together and soon had a child, a falcon-headed boy named Horus. However, Osiris never fully recovered and knew in his heart that it was time for him to leave the world of the living. He told Isis and Horus that he loved them, and told the boy that he must one day take back the throne of Egypt and make it a better place. Osiris then passed on to the afterlife, while Isis and Horus promised to honour him. Isis was scared that Set would hunt for her and Horus, so she took her son to a secret island of reeds in the Nile. Horus lived there in hiding with his mother. She taught him her wisdom, and he grew strong and tall. When it was time, the brave and heroic Horus left the island behind to claim his father's throne. He challenged Set to see who should be the true pharaoh of Egypt, and while the rest of the gods looked on in judgment, they fought a mighty duel, a fight that lasted for many days. Horus was wounded in one eye, and Set was injured in the stomach, but in the end, Horus won. In a grand ceremony, the god Thoth healed Horus's eye, and he was then crowned as a true pharaoh and successor to Osiris. For his part, the wounded Set was transformed into a snake and banished, had to go into the desert. From there, he tried to cause trouble for the people of Egypt. And Horus promised one day to hunt down his cowardly uncle. It's going to pause for a moment. I wonder which of you have seen The Lion King? Put your hand up. I can't tell at home, but I can see lots of children putting their hands up if they've seen The Lion King. There's two versions now. One that came out a year or two ago. It's like the older one, or you can go and see it in London, in the West End. Quite expensive, but wonderful. I've never been, but I am told. What happens in The Lion King? Have a think. Maybe something you could research over the weekend if you don't know. I won't give it away, but if you do know, it's very similar, isn't it? Horus was a kind and just pharaoh, and under his rule, the Nile once again flooded at the proper time. The crops grew plentiful, and the people of Egypt were happy. Right wins out over evil, good vanquishes evil, and everyone lives happily ever after. Well, that's our story for today, and I hope that you have a lovely weekend. The weather was gorgeous when I came in, but I did see a red sky this morning, so many, I'm not sure, well, it's going to be a good weather weekend, but we have a birthday in the Cook household, so if you see me rolling in on Monday, you'll know that I've eaten too much birthday cake. Other than that, I wish you a lovely, happy weekend, and we will see you on the gate on Monday. How cool is that? Have a lovely weekend, and see you Monday.